Are you overposting? Do you post every single second of the day? Do you ever do something really amazing and think, I'm not gonna post this. This is just for me. Hey, I'm Lindsay with The Fearless Experiment, and this is the amazing Jenna Benton, author of Awkward, a 30-day challenge.
You always have to sing that.
I know I do. Today we're talking about overposting. We're talking about needing and giving affirmation. And we're talking about it because it's something that we have both struggled with. It's somewhere we've both been. So I don't know, do you struggle with this? We're gonna find out today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Because I was at a good friend's house for dinner, and she's this awesome woman who does so much to serve in our community. And she was saying, you know, I really struggle because I see people post things that they're doing, maybe serving the homeless or whatever, and they get all these likes and all this attention and all of these comments. And she said, I find myself wanting that same kind of attention, that same kind of affirmation. I don't post those things. And I said, well, why don't you post them? And she said, because I know my motive. And I think that's just the sign of a really wise person. I mean, what is too much? What is oversharing? I don't think there's an easy answer for any of us. I mean, the basic bottom line is that we live in an age where technology plays a huge part in our lives. And quite frankly, a lot of us who are maybe raising young children or don't get out much for whatever reason, our community is online. It gives us an option to be able to connect with people in ways that we've never been able to connect before in history. So I think it can be a really healthy thing to throw things out there so people can cheer you on, to encourage other people to get out there and get some stuff done. But at what point is that crossing the line and becoming unhealthy? Like, why would that be unhealthy?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that we were saying was, I know, if I'm going to be really honest, when I'm posting something that really I'm feeling like I need a few likes. I need somebody to agree with me. I need that, the comments. It's when I need a little bit of affirmation and I need to feel valued. I need to feel significant. And somewhere, even if I can't identify it, I'm not getting that from God. I'm not getting that from the people around me. Not because God doesn't have it to give to me, but because I'm not seeking Him or I'm not letting Him in that area.
Right.
And so then I go to somewhere that's really gonna give me instant feedback. When you have children and you work all day for them, or you scrub, I don't scrub, but things that you do as a mom, you don't get that feedback. When you do good things behind the scenes, you don't get that feedback, but sometimes you desperately want it. And I think we have to admit that we want it.
Yeah. And so what do we do in this kind of culture of maybe sitting on the porch, enjoying the sunset with your significant other, and you're tempted to pull out your phone when you're spending alone time and come up with 5 clever little hashtags, and then later on go back and check and see how many likes you got. I mean, you can really get caught up in that. Yeah. So what do we do? Because obviously, one of the reasons that we get on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever is we want connection, right? So what are some things that we can do? So there's a few things that we can do. We can check ourselves. We can check our motivation from time to time and just say, hey, where am I at with this? Am I feeling a little bit like I'm needing some affirmation in an unhealthy way or a quick way where there isn't a lot of time investment needed? Because look, when I come over here for coffee, guess what? I can share with Lindsay and she can give me this affirmation that I'm craving. And it doesn't feel the same as it does online. Right? So we can kind of check our motives, check our own balance. It's going to be different for everyone. The second thing that we can do is not be judgy. We can really have grace for people and realize we don't know the story behind the story. We don't know the story behind the picture or the post or the hashtags. And so to have some grace and just not be irritable about it. And then the third thing that we can do, we can be noticers.
Yes, I love this one.
Right? So we can be noticers. We can be the kind of person that whether it's online or in person or in the grocery store line, we can notice the little things that no one else notices, and we can affirm and build each other up in that. and not in just a fake surface way, but in a way that really calls out some good stuff in someone else.
In a way that really says that I'm present enough to notice these things about you, and you're important enough to me that I'm going to call these things out. And I think too, one of the things that we were talking about is, just if you see something that kind of makes your guts go like, oh, why'd you post that? Like to be able to say like, hey, maybe there is a different motive behind it, but maybe she does need some actual connection right now. And I'm going to text her and we're going to go out to coffee or him. It's not all girls, I guess, but it's so important. And I think the number one thing that I love how you say just to keep ourselves in check, but to know that the very first thing that we're doing is staying connected to God and knowing we're that source of love and affirmation and value. Like there's only one source that's ever gonna fill all of those parts that we're needing. And Jenna has a great story. Great.
Yes. So in kind of my pursuit of figuring out who I am the last several years, and if God was even really real, like really, really real. I always believed he loved me kind of in the basic way that God loves human beings, us as a global community, as maybe even a Christian, that he loved me. But I had a hard time grasping the idea that he loved me. Awkward Jenna Jane, me with all of my flaws and all of my hang-ups and all of my messiness, that he noticed me. And I was reading this book, and I, for the life of me, can't remember what it is, but it was kind of this romantic take on like, go for a walk with Jesus and ask him to show you how much he loves you. Well, I thought that was a great idea, because, all the crap I had been through and him walking me through it wasn't enough. I wanted to go on a walk and ask for some butterflies and birds to fly by, or a rainbow or whatever. But this book said, he will come through because he's dying to show you how much he loves you. So I went for kind of one of these little prayer walks, and I went down to the end of this pier, and I stood at the end and I prayed it, you guys. I prayed like, Lord, I know that you love me, but will you just show me in a really beautiful way how much you love me? And as I was finishing that prayer, I felt this little plop, 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 right down the side of my head onto my sleeve. And a bird had pooed on me. And I stood there like, did that just happen? Are you kidding me right now? Like, this is a moment, God, and you just wrecked it, But after a while, I started laughing, and God knows us individually, how to love us creatively to the very deepest parts of ourselves. And it was kind of his way of saying, look, kid, I'm here. I've always been here. I will always be here. And I love you, and I see you, and you're being really silly right now. Snap out of it. Like, of course I love you. And actually I did feel a lot of love in that moment.
So, I think the cool thing is if you needed a butterfly, he would have given you a butterfly, but you needed bird poop in your hair, and apparently he knew it. He knew what you needed.
He knew it. So, that's just, I'm not telling you to go on a walk and ask for butterflies or even bird poop, but I think what we're trying to say is it all has to come from this place of knowing that you are deeply loved, and to get your affirmation, the core foundation of your affirmation from Christ.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Yeah. I always love hanging out with you. You make me laugh. So I hope you can connect to what we've been through, what we're saying. Thank you for being here, and we will see you